morning and welcome to day 3 of Rapid plus TCT. I'm John Wilczynski, the Executive Director of America Makes, and I'm here with Stacey DelVecchio, and we're gonna just have a chat and get caught up. So I met you for the first time, which is surprising.
Yes,
the other day. I think it's someone I should have known for a year. I guess we traced back that we have a connection back to your former role, which is at Caterpillar.
Right, and one of my employees there, right.
Yeah, so we work very closely with one of your employees today. So what are you up to now that you've left Caterpillar?
Yeah, so these days I am doing some independent consulting, so it's TCT consulting, and I'm really focusing on the industrial sector, so kind of the heavy duty people, those that are not as far along in the deployment of additive. So it's not the medical and it's not the aerospace, it's the ones that are still going, should we print, should we not print, how do we do it? And that's really where my background comes in and I can be of help to them.
Cool, mostly in, I guess not necessarily large scale, but just in the heavy industry side of
Right,
things.
it doesn't need to be large scale, but it needs to be people that are heavy duty, rugged, and they're like, oh, we're too tough for additive, it's not ready for us. And it really is, but they need to think more strategically about it and what that value prop is.
Yeah, I think that seems to be one of the themes I think that's been circling around additive for a few years now at least, and I'm seeing it pretty prevalent here at the show. It's this idea of, how do we get all of this out into the supply chain? How do we make sure the folks that are either coming through the school systems today or those that are, probably much more difficult to get convinced, that are in, positions where they can make a difference.
Right, and when I was at Caterpillar, a lot of people thought, oh, Caterpillar makes really, really, really big stuff, and certainly you can't print it. But anything that's really, really, really big is made up of thousands of smaller parts that still fit within the print box of a printer. So it doesn't rule out 3D printing.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long have you been on your own consulting?
So about going on 3 years.
Okay, cool. So I know you have other passions. You're very active in the Women in 3D Printing. You had a fantastic reception last night.
Yes, I was.
Right next to our booth. So that was wonderful. I know you in particular, making sure that folks in all positions are being evaluated, in a fair and just way is very important to you. I mean, can you talk a little bit about just either initiatives or things that, we need the audience and the community to be aware of that maybe we're not, as tuned into as we should be.
Right. So I had previously been the president of the Society of Women Engineers, and so for decades been a longtime supporter of gender equity in engineering. And when I joined the additive community, I thought, oh, this is new and upcoming and hip. So I know it's an old word, so it's not hip that way, but, and I was really surprised when I went to my first conference that it's just the same as engineering. And, about 50% of the women that are in the 3D printing industry have engineering degrees, so it makes sense. But I'm like, what the heck? This is like a new industry. We should be embracing both genders. And so when I found Women in 3D Printing, it was just a nice combination to bring in my decades-long work with the Society of Women Engineers. And we hear time and time again that these little girls, I get so frustrated because when I see parents or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, you're an engineer," and they're still surprised by it. Yeah. And I would love to see the day where people are not surprised or super impressed with me because I'm an engineer. I want them to just see this as an option for little girls, be it teachers or the parents, to encourage these little girls that this is a great career choice for them.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that's really important is visibility. They have to be able to see that this is a viable career choice.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really important and interesting, or not point of view, it's a reality. I think it is something that I've talked to a couple of people during these types of interviews. And one thing that's really exciting about additive is you don't have to be, you don't have to have come from a manufacturing or mechanical engineering perspective like I did. I'm one of that group that's the reality.
Me too, but it doesn't
what
have
it is.
to be.
And there's obviously nothing wrong with it. But there's so many different on-roads to this technology, and I've talked to a couple of folks specifically talking about training and workforce development and what that looks like. It really is. There's a couple of really cool companies, and I'm sure there's hundreds of them out here, but that when you talk to them about what their team makeup is, it's very different than what I'm used to.
Yes.
It's folks who were set designers that now work within their organization, and their marketing people came from, this different theater background. and in a whole, I mean, there's just so many different on-ramps. So I think that's the powerful
Yes.
and great opportunity.
And I think with that, with the industry still being new, employers aren't looking for those, they want experts and they want people that are trained in it, even if it's at the university level, but they're willing to entertain people from other backgrounds. Absolutely. And so here you can bring in all those people. You don't have to have a PhD in additive manufacturing, which is now a thing, which wasn't in our education, like maybe in yours, I don't know.
No.
But there's people that come from those different things that employers will do on the job training and bring them up with what the company is doing.
And so last night at one of the events, I was actually talking to one of the big aerospace companies, and as big as they are and as many people as they bring in, the way he put it to me was, we gave up on looking for additive experts.
Yeah.
We can train that. We need people. Excuse me. We need people who want to learn and want to do something interesting and
technically curious.
There's just so many on-ramps, but there's also the reality that at a certain point in time, things I have a daughter who's 11. Excuse me. And you can just see their world changes around them.
Yes. And they're used to that.
Trying to create a atmosphere where it's still, interesting and we're providing opportunities is so important. So I'm sure that's a big part of what you're working on and this community is trying to work on. Can you talk a little bit about the book and what was behind pulling that together?
So two different things. So first of all, I talked about the importance of being visible and these little girls and parents and teachers seeing that either women in 3D printing or women engineers is a thing and it's not some oddity. And so that's why I try to speak whenever I can, share my story. I'm comfortable with that. But I wanted to also capture not only the women that are in 3D printing, but also the fact there's not a lot of books that are written with 3D because it's it's evolving so quickly. And I thought, well, let's take this snapshot in time. It's 2021. And let's tell this story, and then say fast forward 10 years, and then tell it again, and just kind of see that it's just the crazy evolution of it. And then I also wanted, so it's women in 3D printing, everything from bones to bridges and everything in between, because I wanted to show that variety. And so it's like, so I have a person that's doing like bone scaffolds, and then a couple of us are doing the deployment, and then you've got like Melanie Lang, I know you talked to her the other day, from Form Alloy that's started her own company, and then I have a woman from Megan Krieger from the Army that does the bridges and the buildings. So it's just this huge spectrum of people that sure, somebody might not pick it up and read every single chapter, but just even to see the content and the variety. The variety is really key with 3D printing.
Yeah, again, it's this really interesting confluence of things going on where there is tremendous opportunity, both in ways that you can get involved and, kind of maybe on the back end, thinking of it from an application point of view.
Yes.
It is the sky's the limit. It can be everything. It's not going to be everything.
It's not going to be everything.
We've got to figure out what that is. But the more curious minds we get involved, we can figure out where the proper intersections are.
So as I was writing the introduction for the book, I made a comment that anybody who's in this industry has people that they need from both spectrums. And one spectrum says, this is great, it's going to solve all of our problems, we're going to print everything in 5 years. And then other people said that, oh, this is never going to get beyond the toy stage. And we all have those debates with colleagues and whatever, and the reality is somewhere in the middle.
Absolutely.
And it's that we know that. We don't think it's either extreme, and sometimes people think that we feel that it's one of the extremes.
Yeah. I think ultimately I know we are certainly interested in this. We have a few different programs. We launched a program with the Girl Scouts recently, which is kind of a badged program where they can piece together different STEM badges and ultimately get an American Makes badge. So it's
you have an American Makes badge. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I should know that.
Yes. I think it's if not, it's official now. It's in the works. I know we've been working on it with the Girl Scouts group in Northeast Ohio.
Oh, that's so good.
And pulling it together. So again, I think it's a very important topic. Appreciate your time. Thanks for
thank
stopping
you. Thanks
by
for the
today.
opportunity.
Absolutely.